So,
Roundup.
pet of the week. Whose idea was pet of the week? Yours?
Yeah.
And you facilitate it because you're a huge supporter of Humane Society.
Animals in general.
So-
and
Also
of
the
course,
hostess with the mostest.
The two of you are to blame for my new dog, right?
yeah.
Or take credit for.
We were gonna wait, and then Pilar brought Ivan in this week, and I totally think this was a setup because she said, "Hey, you need to get on our website and look this up for me." And then I look on the website for Ivan to get his bio information for the segment, and I see this beagle, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's a beagle! It's a year old!" It's like,
Everything that you said.
oh.
Serendipity is what we like to call that.
So I sent the picture to Ellen, and she's like, "What?" So I then took the initiative and took Darcy out there for the meeting, and it was all good. And so yes, the dog's name will be Sullivan O'Shea Goff.
Sog dog. The good old sog
Irish
dog.
fashion. And O'Shea, as Michelle pointed out when she was talking to Ellen about it, is sort of an homage, a tribute to Seamus.
Oh.
I didn't even think that, but we went O'Shea. I wanted to go O'Brien, but she said, we're not naming a dog after D.O.B. I'm like, I think it'd be a great middle name.
D.O.B.
love it.
He got nixed.
So, yeah, Sullivan O'Shea Goff will officially be ours next week, finishing the home visit.
Congratulations.
Been no-ish. I mean, beagles are kind of... It's great.
He's a chill beagle.
He's a chill beagle. We take him outside, does his business,
Dang,
do this.
you got a good
He's
one.
been home by himself for 2-3 hours at a time. I've gone and checked out. Everything's great. We go out, do a little walk. He does his business, comes back in.
There you go.
Yeah, I sat and you after Seamus passed, you had given me a horn. Mm-hmm. He grabs the horn and he jumps up in my chair, in my recliner, and sits there.
Aww.
I'm like, it's my recliner. So I put him on my lap, and he sits there. And then so we've got like the cat bed is like next to my recliner. So now he's taking over the cat bed, which makes the cat real happy. Cat's real happy.
Yeah.
Get out of my bed. So
Does he get along with cats too?
seems to
seems to just be
Darcy,
fine.
yeah, they're all getting along.
Yeah.
It's great. And
It was meant to be.
It was. So,
That's
yes.
awesome.
Well,
Well,
we had-
congratulations.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
again, we had the Alabama trip coming up, and we didn't want to get a dog to be gone, even though Scott was going to come back and watch Darcy.
Sure.
But now we don't have any trips planned till like we go see my mom and dad in Florida in like January or February.
Yeah.
So it's plenty of time, and all the kids will be home for Christmas, not Thanksgiving. Just
Yeah.
2 of them will be for Thanksgiving. So all the kids will get to come and hang around and see him and everything.
Yeah.
So-
Perfect timing before the weather gets crummy to make sure that he can
Yep.
go out and you don't have to
Yep.
worry about that. That's good. Well, I'm just so happy.
I am so happy
Yeah.
for you too.
See, so at least we can say number one, the pet of the week has done its job. If we found one pet a home that was a good home, which I have no doubt that it is, right? We've done our job.
Yes.
I hope that we get more.
They are trying to clear out the shelters right now
Yeah.
because they're full. And
Yeah.
a lot of our pet of the weeks are still available.
Yeah.
Ivan is still available. Pearl. Natty. Natty
Yeah.
was a good
oh,
one.
Natty's so sweet.
So,
well,
yeah.
they're all so sweet. And it's, Pilar went on Facebook and did a live about, because they have a lot of bigger dogs. And bigger dogs aren't for everyone, of course. But some people are, including myself, are partial to bigger dogs, whether it's for protection or I just love bigger dogs. I don't know what it is. But they could use help with volunteers who can, handle larger dogs because they have a lot of kids and, petite people who go out to help with the animals and stuff, but they could use some stronger specimens to go out and kind of walk the dogs and, so yeah, there you go. But congratulations. I think that's just outstanding.
And you mentioned the horn. It's
I was going to say, what's the horn?
Well, you can get ram's horns. What I got him though was like an antler. Like somebody get.
Yeah.
So that's like when you're shopping for your pets for Christmas, a big thing. It's a little bit more of an investment, but it is the safe route when it comes to toys. Bone shoes, ram's horns, things like that. Just when you're shopping for your pets for Christmas, that's just a tidbit from me.
And we have some antlers for the other dogs and stuff, but now we got rid of all the other stuff that could be a problem, and but he's pretty cool. So.
Speaking of shopping for Christmas, it's not a
Christmas
sweatshirt, but Golden Collective.
Oh yeah.
So it's the Woodland Cemetery edition. I'm pretty sure they're coming out with some holiday editions too.
Yeah.
Make sure to check out their website.
They also had one that was like a VW bus type thing that said Ghost Hollow Road, which I
Yes.
thought was really badass. I think if you look on there, it's all kind of Quincy specific type stuff. It's just really cool.
Yes.
Especially
Both
if
of
you're
them,
Quincy at heart.
Yeah,
you know?
they do an amazing job.
Yeah.
Did you go across the hall and do your Christmas shopping yet?
I did actually. Right, I wasn't gonna tell you, but yeah, I ordered Ashley and I some sweatshirts for Christmas.
You better get them for everybody. Don't just come on.
Okay, all right,
We
but
got a
these
whole bigger
ones-
team
Well,
now.
it's so our style is kind of, I think we're the colors that we like, the color scheme, you know. So she thought of me, which thank you for that.
Yeah.
By the way, I always
Tommy
love
hooked us up.
Yeah.
Yeah, also,
So did he.
Thank you.
Thank you. Merry
Tri-City
Christmas.
Sports is coming aboard as a sponsor for our Muddy Night Lights basketball show too. So
He does such a good
thank
job
you.
with everything.
and he's very quick, and it's across the hall, and we use his bathroom a lot, so it's great.
And he's pretty fun.
Hey, he's a good
pretty,
dude.
pretty good dude.
He
Yeah.
uses bathroom.
Yeah,
We do.
So,
Yeah.
so Monday night, I'm hoping, I'm praying. I will go to mass this weekend, and I will literally pray on this, that we will be done with the roundabout in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Because
Bigger
last
fish to
week
fry.
the council decided they're going to put the motion to rescind on there. So we'll see what happens now. But it took a tie-breaking vote by the mayor to put it back on the agenda. And we asked the mayor about it, and he said, yeah, well, sure, we'll have the discussion. We'll have more discussion. I don't know how the mayor's going to vote. He's been a proponent of the roundabout, and then he allows to put this back on. So we'll see. Again, it's a hot-button issue. I would hope that people would just, whatever your initial instinct was on it, stick with it. Don't be swayed by whatever. I think if you really feel strongly it should be done, great. If you really feel it shouldn't, great. But vote your conviction and what your conviction of your constituency is. Yeah. And I guess that's my last thing before we see what happens here. And again, I don't know what's going to happen, but who knows? It could be a really weird meeting Monday night.
Yeah. I hope there's not a lot of contention, just because it's
that ship sailed.
Well, I know, but it just seems like, you know, for a town like Quincy to have the biggest issue, you know, on the forefront anyway, be a roundabout. It just doesn't seem. It just doesn't. I know it's important because it's tax dollars, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not. Like, I interviewed Lisa, who go to yesterday.
Yeah.
And there's some really big human issues that I think, you know, it's kind of like when COVID rolled around, I was like, imagine what we could do with like childhood cancer or hunger, or, you know, if we put this much energy into fighting our picking our battles, like, you know, you're not wearing a mask. Well, like, can we just all rally together and really fix important things? I mean, I know tax dollars are really important, but when I was talking to Lisa, and I wish we would have covered this. It's a really great interview. Go check it out. It was on the Daily Muddy, but she said, you know, we wouldn't have to have the discussion on the roundabout if we could convince the city to do a registry for landlords and property owners, because you know, who are renting out, which that's a totally another conversation. But she said, you know, we could have the funds to do that. I think that there are ways that we can beautify and make Quincy a little more modern, but we're attacking it the wrong way. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Also, one question I had, and Jake Reed helped answer it. Thank you, Jake. Was because I started thinking, I, like many others, have kind of a suspicion that the roundabout isn't the actual issue here, right? It just
Right.
Yeah. So so I'm like, what?
Wait, you think something's a conspiracy theory? I'm shocked.
It's just me.
Shocked by that.
So it's not
But
necessarily.
it's not just us. I think everyone in the community is saying
like,
that.
why is this issue something that has been voted down, then come back? Then it's so, you know, months and months of conversation. Actually, it goes back to, I don't even know when it started, but I know that John Wood and the county board were in discussion about a roundabout and sidewalks and safety in 2023, April 2023. Why is it today that we're still having so many conversations about it? So one of the things that I wonder, and I'm not trying to stoke a fire here, I'm just asking the question, did the county make an agreement with John Wood to construct sidewalks and bike paths? And is that perhaps maybe a reason that we're trying to lump this all into a project to kind of split the cost?
It isn't a long-range plan. There's been nothing put put together concrete about that yet. But
Okay.
that's part of a long-range plan on this entire project.
But
yes.
some people are saying that it is a part of the roundabout. So this is another issue that I have, that there isn't a clear-cut border of what this project actually includes, how much it's actually going to be, who's involved in what portion of it, and what the options are.
You make it sound like a riverfront project.
I'm just saying. You know, and that's why I said it would be nice to have a town hall. Homan posted something on a live feed, and I said it would be nice to have a town hall. I know Jessica Booth said the same thing, because I don't just want to go to a city council meeting and speak my mind against something and just have somebody listen to me. I want to have a constructive conversation with a group of people, not just our aldermen, but the engineers, the people who are going to determine how long this is going to cost.
Have they decided
or how long
who
it's going to
that is?
take?
Like who the engineers are going to be? Have they already planned on?
Well, the county does a lot of its own engineering, but I assume Klingner's would be involved. I don't know about Peppingstone Bach because Pat Pepping's been retired for many years. There were some people who were saying something, there was some conspiracy that Pat was involved, but Pat's been retired. He's living in Florida half the year. He's just an advocate for this project.
Yeah.
So,
But that's what I mean. It would be really nice to have some kind of a discussion about, okay, you say this, here's what I am questioning. Can you answer that? Because I think unless you have a dialogue, one side gets to say their part, then the other side gets to say their part, and nobody's actually conversating. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So how can we accomplish something like that when there's this much contention? You know what I mean? It doesn't seem too hard, but I don't know why it's not happening.
I brought up last Club Muddy, and I'll be the one to bring it up this time. So the chairman of the county board is retiring, and that's Kent Schneider. And
Okay.
he really, really wants this project done. And I posed the question, why does it have to be done right now before his retirement? I know there's
Did we get an answer to that?
Not exactly. But
Not
I know
any-
there's a contract to it. Obviously, the 1970
the
60
agreement between the city and the
60
county. Yes.
years ago
Regarding
agreement
shared roads.
is coming to fruition right now. So maybe that's part of it. But again, like pushing this, needing this done, there's a little bit more there that I don't think. We recently reached out to John Wood, and asked, have any people, because they're getting ready to, I guess, vote on their board, do a new board.
They have to have candidates.
The John Wood.
How many board positions are opening?
I don't know if it's 4 or 3. It's one or the other because it's a 7-person board. And John Wood board is just like park board. It's just like school board. It's one of these non-paying positions that most people just serve because they want to serve. There's just not a lot of
Reward.
Prestige?
No, there's no prestige at all. Name me a John Wood board
Exactly.
member. Name me a John Wood board member.
But regardless of that, I could walk down people like on the street and say, name me a park district person. I
Exactly.
mean, very few people. I mean,
Right.
some people would probably say Frankenhoff because they see his name,
Yeah,
in
he's
the
been on
news.
for 20 years. Yeah.
But for the most part, no, you're not going to know your park board people either. But people take these positions, yes, for being the good of the community, but everyone has human intuition and reasoning behind it. We all do things for reasons, and most of these positions still hold power. With great power comes great responsibility.
Thank you, Peter Parker.
You're welcome. But people want these for the power, for the prestige. And one of the people that have pulled the application for the John Wood board is Kent Snyder.
He is running for the John Wood board.
He hasn't turned in his application yet.
Because you can't turn him until November 12th. But he's taken out applications as of 5 or 6 other people running for these seats. And again, John Wood board is it's a district.
Yep.
It's more than just Adams County. It's Pike County. It's
Right.
So it's
a big
voted
area.
on.
It's voted on by all the citizens of that area. It will be also voted on April 1st. That is the consolidated election for municipal offices as well as school boards, park boards, townships, things like that. All that stuff is mumbled. It's a big election of a lot of different stuff.
So go vote.
So yeah, it's an important one, and then again we'll have the primary for sure on the 25th, and we'll have a couple of aldermanic seats up for the primary, and we'll also have the mayor on the Republican side. So Yeah, it's an important election to have. But again, so he's one of the people running for that. I don't. Ken has been with me, has talked and said, look, I just want this. I want this project done before I retire from the county board because we've been wanting to do it for a long time. I just want to get the darn thing done. I take him for his word on that. Does his running for John Wood board have some sort of
conflict of interest
or correlation, even maybe?
Well, maybe if he figures if they can get the county stuff done, he can get on John Wood board. Then John Wood can then get the rest of it done. Maybe that's how he's looking at it.
Because even though it's been stated before in the comment sections of our Facebook that there are grants set aside for those bike paths to connect from the hill to John Wood, there are grants, but they have not attained them yet.
Yeah.
No, and you apply for those grants.
So it's not a guarantee.
But sometimes you have to prove your skin in the game before you can get a grant.
John Wood could also just say, we're going to help fund this, and we're going to use part of our tax. We're going to use part of our.
It all comes from the same.
It does.
But selling it to the public like it's already a done deal is not.
It's not.
That's not a good light to have. So that's why everyone is like, they're sus, they're sus, they're sus. Or maybe it's just me.
I don't.
Okay, we have a lot of people who don't know what that sus means. You probably need to explain that.
It's suspicious.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious because it does seem, even in people who don't have the conspiracy brain like I do, like Brittany does, it does seem like this is a very. I don't think it's that important that it's taken this much limelight. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what I mean? But why is it?
I know people are also going to be like, we're blaming you because you guys bring it up and you're popular. But
this is like,
we talk about what everybody else is talking about.
Exactly.
We didn't stoke this fire. The fire was already there.
When something is voted no, and it somehow finds its way back to a vote, I immediately am like,
it was voted yes, and now they're trying to bring it back.
It was voted no first.
And then it was voted. It was.
Yes.
Yes. True. Good point.
Okay. So when you vote something down, okay, if it has to come back to a vote, my take is if you're bringing something back to the table that was already voted on, there has to be another way. So you either put it on a ballot, you have to come up with some different criteria.
I think they did, though. They brought it up with a second offer of giving you more money to get this done.
The county saying we got another $600,000.
We'll give that to you.
But here, we
it's
cannot.
Like buying a car.
We cannot. Nice tie-in. We cannot get to the point where we have a public referendum on every freaking intersection.
No, but over a certain dollar amount, or because
intersection in town, because nothing would freaking get done.
No.
Because that doesn't matter to me. I don't want that intersection done. That intersection doesn't
guess
affect
what?
me.
Guess what? If we voted and the majority said yes, it would be done. But guess what? We voted. Somebody said no. Now we're voting again. Now we're voting again.
So
to call the timeline,
then it needs to be put on a referendum.
If Broadway
State
caved in.
Broadway State.
Okay. But
another example.
If the state said, we're giving you Broadway, have fun.
Okay. Then the first thing I would do is 14th and Broadway, put a GD something there, because if you want to talk about safety, you got 25 junior high kids trying to cross 4 lanes of traffic. So if we're super concerned about...
Because God forbid they walk down to 12th Street.
Well, guess what?
No.
God forbid one of them gets hit. And that's what somebody's argument was. God forbid there's a deathly crash there. Do you want to
crosswalk every block on Broadway?
No, but I would do at least something at that
to the connecting point of one of our largest populated schools.
Also, you have aisles with no sidewalks. So this is why it's suspicious. You have all of these problems in Quincy. And I'm not talking about potholes. That's a thing that people keep saying. I'm not talking about people not being able to navigate.
But
bullshit, we can figure it out.
Issue.
But to put it on safety, to put it on John Wood kids, I have one kid who goes down Harrison regularly on a bike. One. I'm not saying that that's all there is, but to pin it on something that doesn't seem legit, really, tells me that it's sus.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well,
it wasn't safety at first, was it? I mean, the safety.
It's crumbling infrastructure. It's safety. It's all of the things.
Kind of started happening once people said no.
So I think it's always been about safety.
When you put in
proponents.
Okay, you know how every time I talk to DOB, guess what he says? When someone tells you that it's urgent or that it's for your safety.
We've been talking
or
about this
for
for
your
15
good.
years. I think the urgency ship has sailed.
Okay, well, they're still trying to say if you don't do it now, then it's on you. That's an urgent, they're trying to be like impulsive decision making, and DOB always says, and you're welcome, and thank you, DOB, that's probably a red flag.
Also,
so maybe that's where I get it from.
Quincy is in Adams County. Like, why would county do that to, like, aren't we part of Adams County?
Your question. Yes, we are part of the county, so the county should spend money in the city, which they're doing.
But then,
and the city's also spending its own money because that's how the roads are controlled. That's how.
But it's almost like a threat.
Yes.
It's a threat.
Why would
if you don't do this
threat
now,
one of their city constituents?
They're not threatening. They're saying
they are sure threatening.
It's your road. Take
no,
care of it
if
now.
you don't do this, then you get this. That's a threat.
That's a threat. Yeah.
Okay.
Another sus. So take it for what you will. Somebody said that, Muddy River News was being paid to support this. False. I want to just go ahead and throw that out there.
Flipping check.
False.
That's
we've been very outspoken about, we don't really agree with taxpayer dollars being spent on this when there are other priorities that probably could be focused on. That is that's my statement, period, the end. If it gets passed, I like a roundabout. I don't really give a shit. But do I think there are things that are a little more important than a road right now? Yeah.
I will support this only if there's a splash pad in the middle.
Oh, my God.
And then...
What about my statue?
Nope. Just if we don't get a splash pad in the middle of this roundabout, then you don't have my vote.
The only way that I will support a roundabout with 100% certainty is if I can get a statue of you and Steve Homan hugging in the middle for all of eternity. Boom. Done.
Steve Homan.
That's it.
That'd be great. So,
No, it's got to be a meeting of the minds, baby. Going round
and round and round.
No, I'm kidding.
Round.
So it's easy to laugh about because it's not something that's affecting all of our lives every day. Unfortunately, there are things that are a little more, they're a little more human in nature. They're a little more, they kind of matter more, I'll say.
Speaking of which, we're going to talk about one of those things.
Oh, coming up. Yeah, I forgot about the break. Sorry.
We got to take a break.
Yay.
We'll be back.
Cheers.
Dude, there's so many chairs in this room.
Why are there so many chairs?
Dude, this one's so high up.
This one is soft and comfy.
Did you know there's a guy whose job it is to just pick out all these chairs?
What?
Yeah.
What? Would chairs even exist if you weren't sitting in them?
They do at celebrations.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Whoa. All right. I'm an Auto Shine, getting the roo all clean and shiny. And I'm here today because we have a big announcement for another new segment. We're calling it Clean Up Your Act. Now, it's no misnomer that social media has a lot to do with our organization. And in that regard, there are comments being made. And it's freedom of speech. You can comment how you will. But we would like to point out the best and maybe the not so greatest, okay, the worst, and do our best to correct the worst and reward the best with a car wash. Not by me. That was a lot of work right there. But a car wash from Auto Shine at either of their locations, 529 North 48th Street or 2500 Broadway. Sorry, it's a bit windy out here. We thank our new sponsors, Auto Shine, for helping us clean up the internet a little bit.
So we're back. So if you watched the break, you saw the promotion we're doing on trying to clean up the internet and clean up Facebook comments. Good luck with that. Fucking Don Quixote shit going on here. Yes, but no, I want to make it very clear. Brittany is not going to wash your car. It's not happening.
In the middle of doing that, I was saying this out loud, and as I was saying it, I was like, oh, I'm making this sound like I'm going to wash. Like, I had to stop.
There's a dollar amount, though, right? If somebody says, here's X, wash my
Everything's
car.
for sale.
Oh, exactly.
Everything's for sale.
Yeah. I mean, and as long as we're going to do it in Auto Shine Car Wash.
There you go.
Then I will absolutely.
Everything's
Okay.
for sale. I will wash some cars, but we'll do it for a charity.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A good charity.
The charity of Brittany.
I would even venture to say I would wear a tasteful two-piece.
That's what I chose
Yeah.
for this
I
one.
thought you said one piece.
It
Let's
was
see.
a one cut out,
Well, since this is a Muddy
whatever.
River
Oh.
News thing, then
And
we get
fine,
X
it was-
percent, and your
No, you get
commissions
nothing.
are X.
But
and-
yeah, I went
so.
the swimsuit route because it was my time
It was funny.
of the month.
Yeah, I love.
Shut up. It was funny. You're in your flippers and stuff. It was funny.
I think it's
The
amazing.
flippers. So that's the first time I've ever been in any kind of scuba gear.
You've
Yeah.
never worn flippers in your life.
Never in my life. So I put those on thinking
Seriously?
it was going to be like nothing.
You've never gone scuba or like
No,
snorkeling or anything?
No. So then
Oh my
like
God.
I'm trying to wash my car.
That's hard to
in
walk.
these flippers, and I'm walking, and I'm like, oh, this is worse than heels.
So here, okay, so let's bring it back to the roundabout real quick. Maybe we should get one opposition and one, what do you call it? Proposition?
Mm-hmm.
Pro.
One
Proponent.
one proponent. Race to the finish around a roundabout with flippers and goggles.
Done.
Maybe.
Then they should
I'm
run, because
saying.
Auto Shine's on 48, they should just run all the way to
There
Auto
you go.
Shine.
Perfect.
Yep.
See,
There you go. Problem
See, if
solved.
I were mayor,
That
bing,
would
bang,
be
boom.
that would be how we just
Yep.
decide.
And it's very official.
So next Thursday, when we're recording this, one thing, we'll have our newest Muddy Buddy on as a guest, Emma Dalkey, so that'll be fun.
Yay,
But the
Emma.
other thing is, at that point in time, the election will be over. This election, we always have elections. This election will be over. But will we know who the winner is by the time Thursday rolls around?
Likely not.
I don't
Right?
know. Yeah, I don't know. How long does that usually go afterwards?
Jesus, it depends. Yeah.
You know what I think is hilarious? That people who are big on sports bets and the organizations who
Aren't making bets
support-
on
they're
this.
making bets on the president, and it's a lot of money. There's a lot of money at stake.
You can't bet on Illinois, though. I tried.
Okay,
For real, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vegas has a sports book that you can bet. Absolutely.
and I actually think
Yeah.
that Robinhood, which is an app, you can get on and make bets on the president as well. So, I think there's over $100 million in bets for the president.
God, this is news to
That
me.
sounds-
I didn't even think this.
I bet it's more.
wild.
How is
Yeah.
this
well,
even
now it's
legal?
probably wild.
Want to make a bet?
You can just make a bet on anything.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see the numbers. I haven't seen them recently, but Trump was winning by quite a lot.
Do you
on
think
these
people
bets.
are just putting the bets on?
Well, I think there
their
are certain type of
hopes?
people who bet, and those certain type of people are very
You mean the people who have money are betting on Trump? That's not.
well, not
that's a
necessarily
shock.
that, because I bet, but I think it's like, so it's funny to me that people who are quote unquote financially conservative are big bettors. They like to gamble.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
want to spend money on themselves.
Yeah.
And don't want to spend money on like other things, but they'll
And I'm
spend
not
everything they
lumping.
want on
I'm not
themselves.
lumping everybody into that category, but it is.
Yeah, that's so
it's
not
pretty
me.
wild.
I'm very financially conservative,
Yeah.
so like that's like
I
the last thing
I'm
I.
a $5 and $10 a bet guy on DraftKings, so it's like nickel and dime.
yeah,
all the way up.
I'm a couple
I do
dollars
not
here
have
and there,
the-
just because I don't know shit
I don't
from
have the balls to like
Shinola.
say here's $200. No,
Yeah.
it's not me. I no. Plus,
My
I did-
gambling money goes towards my eyelashes and my nails because
Everybody
have
has
no
their
idea.
their
I
I have
things,
no
yeah.
idea what to bet on.
So Kennedy is still on the Illinois ballot, by the way.
Well, I know who I'm voting for.
So even though a vote for him goes into the ether,
Yeah,
Does
but
it go into
I-
the ether or does it lean? Because, like some of those times, like when you vote that way, like it leans towards one side or the other.
in
Doesn't
Illinois,
it?
it doesn't matter.
Okay. But in
Harris is going to win
outside
Illinois. It
of
doesn't matter.
Illinois.
It could matter, sure. Jill Stein and Kennedy, sure. They could definitely make a difference in swing states. Absolutely no question about it.
Okay, now what if I vote for Kennedy? It doesn't have any impact because isn't he going to be like the Haga or whatever the heck it's called?
What's that called?
MAHA, Make America
He
Healthy Again.
Well, Trump
MAHA.
says he's, at first he was going to get a cabinet position. Now Trump's like waffling and equivocating. He's going to give him a cabinet position. Who knows? So,
well, I do think that he should make America
Healthy
again.
I love it.
And I do think he is the right guy. He has a very sound mind and a lot of plans for how to do just that. And I think that's one of the most important things that everyone should be talking about. Unfortunately, they're not.
No, it's not controversial enough.
Yeah, right. And I think that, throughout this whole election, my biggest question has been, what are the actual hot button policies and where do you stand on it? I think that we've gone away from what are you going to do and then holding people accountable for that and not voting for people based on personality or based on people's sex or sexual orientation or
race
or hate or hate for the other the other opponent. It's like a lot of people are not voting for Trump because they don't like him,
because they said they'll vote for a head in a jar of blue
a
liquor.
turd on the street,
Turd instead of
right?
anything.
So it's like, well,
Trump, yes.
do we know to those people? I would pose the question: do you know the actual policies, or do you just hate the person in general? And if you hate the person in general, do you actually know who they are? And this isn't just Trump. This isn't just Harris. This is everybody. This is locally. This is state. This is everyone. I beg of people to learn the policies that they're fighting for and what they're going to do, because that's where your tax dollars are spent. That's what determines a lot of stuff, right? And stuff is all encompassing, but you got to do your homework and not just go with the flow or go with somebody who's being overbearing about things. I don't know.
The last time I voted an election where I voted for somebody who I really liked was 1992. If that tells you anything, since then I haven't voted for anybody I've really liked.
Did you vote for Clinton?
I did twice. I did vote for him twice. I thought
does
Bob Dole was too old.
Not surprise me.
Bob Dole was too old, and
Yeah.
now look at. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess,
but I thought Bob Dole was too old. I think I thought Biden was too
Now
old. I thought
look
Trump
at-
was too old.
but,
It's
like,
like
now look at
yeah,
it.
it's like
It's like-
come on, yeah. So
Yeah. So here's what I think should be important.
then I went Bush. I go Bush.
Bush.
How do you not even remember?
Because sometimes it was just like, because sometimes it's serious. It's like,
Which
McCain.
of the lesser two evils is it
McCain.
gonna be?
Romney. Then I wrote in John Danforth in 16. I wrote in John Danforth in 2020.
You know what? I was told
I
you're
might
not
write in John
supposed
Danforth. I don't
to.
give a shit.
You're not supposed to. I was taught that if
Yeah, I
you
was taught that
say
too.
who you're voting for, like I remember asking my dad at the dinner table one time, like I said, "Hey, Dad, it was election, and I believe it was like the Clinton election.
Yeah.
I was just getting involved. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I was like in kindergarten, learning this stuff. I'm like, Dad, who did you vote for? He's like, we don't.
No, it's like talking about
don't
your
talk
body.
about
this
It's like
because
talking
it's
about your
about-
body count.
No,
you
he
just don't
said-
talk about it.
He said, well, he didn't say that.
Talk about Fight Club.
He did not say his body count because that's not my dad. He said, Brittany, that's like describing your poop.
Ah. Yeah.
You don't
See,
think
the
your
difference
dad-
is
you don't
I
think
will
your dad's
describe
ever
my
capped
poop.
somebody's ass.
What?
Whoa.
You don't know what body count is, dear.
Okay, body count.
Oh, you're talking about sex.
Body count is sex.
Oh, I was thinking killing people.
But it's not something that you. It's not something that
I always thought
you.
the real body count, like Steve Bull, gangster, out killing
No,
people
so
in the back
even-
of
even in
behind
the
Roy
most-
Bennett furniture or something.
Even in the most intimate
Oh, you're like
relationship,
sex.
yeah,
Oh,
even
that's
in the
gross.
most
You don't talk about
intimate
that.
relationships, you don't
No.
ask or tell your
No.
body count because it does no good.
No,
Okay?
no win.
What's your body
Yes.
count?
No idea. No idea.
I'm kidding.
No idea.
Body
Okay,
doesn't
so-
count.
So old,
Body doesn't.
I'm so old I don't remember.
Body
All
doesn't
right,
count
so-
unless it goes
Yeah, I
both
totally
ways.
I'm not
thought,
trying to make
I thought
light
you were
of
talking
it,
about
but-
Steve being a monster.
Oh my
hit.
God,
Oh, that's
my
so
dad
funny.
is a mobster, so don't mess with me. Anyway,
But I think that voting, as much as we make light of it, it is very important. I don't care who you vote for. Vote. It's the only way that you can have your voice heard, even if you think that it's a sham. Sometimes I do. Sometimes
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
know.
grab this Mr. Goodbar right
There you
here
go.
while we talk about that, because that's my take on it. I take on the absolute aluminum foil cap
hat,
with
yeah.
that, where I'm like, oh, we're deciding who's gonna be this. No, it's already been decided, and we are playing in the Hunger Games.
So I think, and this will be
Three
this.
Musketeers there
This
if you
could
want
be
one.
very controversial as well, but I think that while we're all focused on this person or this person who doesn't necessarily control shit about F. There are things that are super important to our country, to the people, and I think that in the grand scheme of things, voting is very important.
Yes.
Being a good human is even more important. It doesn't matter who is in this office or what things they say they're going to do or what they carry out. If you control or have even a little bit of control of what's going on in your family, how you raise your kids, how you tend your own garden, I've said this so many times, that's what matters. So when you're talking to your kids, try not to create contention, don't create hate. My kids know who I'm voting for, but they also know that they don't have to follow my beliefs. They also can be independent.
I got some kids like that.
It is, but that's the best thing you can do for your kids. Make your own mind.
Yep,
Do
I've said that all along.
critical thinking. Critical thinking is one of the most important things you can instill in your kids. Also, discussions with your kids, even if they don't believe in what you believe, don't shut them down.
My kids, it's like choose your own path. That's like people who blow me shit about Alex's job. It's like, you know what? He chose his own path. He's working for somebody he believes in. You might not believe in him.
Yep.
That's great. And I love all my kids, respect all my kids' decisions. I've never, you can ask any of them, I've never tried to indoctrinate them into anything except that the University of Kansas sucks. Aside from that, no other thing I've ever tried to indoctrinate them on. Tell Mike I said that, by the way.
That's what I was just thinking.
There
I'm
you
like,
go.
God.
Tell him that. So now we need to make our fearless predictions on who we think, not who we want, but who we think will actually win
'Kay.
next Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or whenever it's decided.
Are you looking at me because you want me
You
to go
go
first?
first.
Okay. So according to the signs, which blows my mind, in Quincy, there's a lot of...
Not in Quincy, nationwide.
No, I'm talking in Quincy first.
Okay.
So Harris
first.
Harris signs have popped up astronomically in numbers, which I think is great. Again, you do you. Trump signs are smaller, we'll say, I think, in numbers and in size.
Than in past years.
But but that doesn't mean that is a determiner or determination or whatever the words are. I do think that I'm kind of torn, man, and I don't like it because in years past I was like, "Oh, this is a no-brainer." I knew Biden was going to win because I always feel like it goes back and forth.
Didn't you think Hillary was going to win, though?
I think I was too young to give a shit.
You weren't
Hillary
that young.
Trump?
You weren't that
No,
young.
you weren't.
Hillary Clinton?
Or
Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump in
Yeah.
2016.
Yeah.
You weren't that young.
I was too young to actually care. Yeah.
It was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
You had a kid.
I
You
didn't.
had two, probably.
It didn't become that important to me until like the last.
Until I started working for Buddy River.
No, honestly, though, until your kids start growing
And
you
learning
realize
things.
that you have to contribute.
And really,
to the
I think with
future. I
Hillary,
don't
it was
know.
like people were voting because she was,
I'm defending her.
a woman and blah 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 blah. And I was like, I don't really know if she's good for the country. Of course, I don't think any of the candidates for a long time have been good for our country. If that tells you anything.
Yeah,
I
Does
missed
that
out.
make sense?
absolutely.
I missed out by like a week being able to vote for Reagan in '84, and I was always bummed about that. So
How? Why?
I was bummed.
I wasn't old
that-
enough. I hadn't turned 18
Oh.
yet because my birthday's November 13th, and election day was before that.
Oh.
And I loved Ronald Reagan. I mean, and then, so that was '84, then '88. Sure, like I said, Bush, because Dukakis was a dork, and then I thought Bush was a complete and total failure. So that's why I switched. So
I was bummed about Kennedy.
Bush Senior, not
Folding.
W. Yeah, I know you were. You like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I really loved him. But
I loved him too.
So, but
Yeah.
that's not a
I'm
prediction.
glad though.
It's not-
But I'm
Make
glad
your
that
prediction.
my prediction is Trump.
Okay.
my prediction is not who I want it to be. But like I said, we're in the Hunger Games, and I think it's already all planned out because I'm wearing my tinfoil hat, and it will probably be Harris. That would not be my choice, my choice would definitely be Kennedy.
Yeah.
In regards to Trump, I don't necessarily support him as a person, but I think that maybe he could possibly turn the economy around. I do have hope with that.
So he's the imperfect vessel that all the evangelicals think he is what
He's
you're
the best
saying.
of the worst.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Best of the worst.
Which is unfortunate in today's society.
And I hate that, when you say, immediately, I'm sure I'm going to get tons of comments. You support a rapist. You support this. No, I'm supporting what is the best of the worst for our country, our economy, for the future of my child. That's the biggest thing that I'm looking at.
Also, we're supporting the best of the worst.
Yeah, best of the worst. That's a big thing that we need to
To be honest, just real quick, Luke and I sit in our garage and have drinks occasionally, and I think he and I together have a better brain than
any of
them.
Oh, that's how I feel.
And
about
I think
when Mike and I have this.
My 10-year-old
Same.
is like, well, why wouldn't we do this? She's also the one who spells phonetically. So I'm like, yeah, you're smart. You are smart. You know that this should be spelled this way. And I feel like that's what we need. Logical people.
Phonetic spelling.
100%. Yeah.
Conrad.
All right, who's your
Just saying.
prediction?
I believe
Captain.
Kamala Harris will get 285 electoral votes, which is more than the
you're going-
270 needed.
Jeez, you're really
And-
betting.
Yeah, I did the math the other day.
Oh.
And I also believe that this, you made a very salient point about the Harris signs. In 2016 and 2020, Donald Trump won more than 70% of the vote in Adams County, Illinois. I believe this will be the first time he will fall below that threshold in Adams County.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Enough to place a wager.
sure. I'll bet you.
Oh, not me. I'm
Oh,
saying,
no.
on Round
I can't.
Yeah.
I tried on DraftKings. They don't let you bet on the
I'll
presidential
bet.
thing in
Okay,
Illinois.
I'll bet
'cause
you.
you can't
I'll
bet on
bet.
stuff.
I don't bet. Oh, God damn it. God damn it. Okay, so $5.
spit.
Sure, $5.
$5?
Yeah, $5. You pay me.
You're a bartender. You can give me free booze.
Wait, okay, I'll place
give you
this
cash.
bet.
Give me
$5.
drinks.
You're saying Adams County, Kamala. I'm saying $5 Trump. I believe that. I don't know. I see the comments on Facebook a lot, and I think I read more Trump positive.
It's all your
comments.
fart chamber.
It is.
You
no,
put
on
well,
both sides.
I'm
much value
reading.
in that.
Well, then it's
No, it's on both sides.
Then it's our
It's on both
fart
sides.
chamber because I'm reading them on Muddy River News.
It is.
You know,
It's all
and the
of it.
majority, I think, kind of. I don't know. It goes both ways. I
The hardest
I do
part-
like the fact that we have both in our
The
viewership.
hardest I guess scenario is because, or whatever you call it, is because the loudest people aren't necessarily the majority. So
Wait,
on
what?
both sides.
Say that again. Say that
Okay.
again. I want to hear you. I want to watch your lips as you say that again.
Am I incriminating myself?
Why? Why is she? Yeah.
'Cause
So the
that's-
loudest group subsection of both sides don't represent the people who are voting. So it's hard to see where things will fall. And I kind of appreciate that because it's like, oh, it's like kind of like a murder mystery, which I hate to equate it to that, but it's like, oh, you have no idea who the killer is because they don't know. They're the loudest people.
Shouldn't the loudest people though be the ones that are heard if you're voting
Why?
on your constituents?
No.
But they also represent us
Like the ones that are
incorrectly.
actually going to
No.
vote.
No, the loudest people? No. Just because somebody gets on there and posts on Facebook 85,000
No. I'm not saying.
times
I'm
or
not
what?
saying
No.
that. No, I'm not saying that. But like, I consider the loudest people the people that go out and actually
They care the
vote,
most.
that
Sure.
speak on things.
They
that-
care the most. That doesn't mean that they represent even 50%. They care the most. They're trying to influence, which I love so much, but I don't know that that represents the rest of the party.
Well, at some point over the weekend, we'll have the early vote story out about the numbers that have come in so far. And again, the county clerk's office does not. We don't know the early vote numbers on who voted for whom, but we do have the early vote numbers on how many people have voted. I know it's over 9,000 right now. I'll get it again from Ryan Niekamp probably before I post the story tomorrow or Friday, as you know how it works. It looks like those numbers are pretty strong. And again, I think that's, it used to be, the Trump folks were like, oh, early voting, ooh, bad. But now they've realized, oh, we've got to get in on this. We got to jump on this train, and early voting is a good thing. And it is a good thing. Letting people, I really wish Election Day was a national holiday in which everything was shut down and you went and voted.
They're getting it that way.
Yeah.
They're shutting down the schools this year.
Well, this year,
for
yes.
this.
In some states, it's not in every state though.
Okay.
Can I ask you guys
Maybe to a Saturday. Or
really
something.
deep question?
Sure.
What are your hot button points on why you're voting for who you're voting for?
You go first.
My biggest thing is economy, I guess, is what I'm looking at. Yeah, I don't know. You kind of put me on a hot spot.
I know,
there,
but
I mean,
but
I
see,
guess
I
I look
think
at,
this is
I look at economy, the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, some of the biggest issues that these two candidates are economy, abortion, foreign policy. So I kind of stand with him on most of those. No, I don't stand with him on his abortion stance.
Sure.
Like I said, I'm pretty independent. I swing both ways, but the most important of the matters are what I'm stating, and that's why I stand by him.
Sure.
Real quick, though, when I was stating, the loudest voice, I was kind of implying, are there times when the loudest voice is something in the electoral votes the opposite? Obviously that happens, but how often is that happening?
I don't know.
That's why I say it's already voted.
The electoral college, that's a whole thing we could spend a gazillion hours talking on.
Which I think we should.
I want peace, prosperity, health of the nation, all that kind of stuff. Keep our asses out of war, all that kind of stuff. So, and I don't think either candidate delivers on
right?
this.
So okay, no, I agree.
I'm probably writing in Jack Danforth for the third straight time because I thought Jack Danforth was one of my political idols growing up. They're a longtime Republican senator from Missouri, one of the last statesmen we ever had. Yeah, I know he was responsible for getting Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court. Sorry, but Clarence Thomas did some good stuff. He's done some bad stuff.
He's still a viable candidate for anything, though.
John Danforth?
Yes.
Nah, he's like in his 80s.
So why wouldn't you do your write-in as Kennedy?
I could vote for Kennedy.
Because he's actually
still on the ballot in Missouri. I don't know. Danforth's been my guy, and again, the last few years, that's who I've just gravitated toward.
But if he's not even a thing, why would you throw away your vote if voting matters?
I know. But it doesn't matter in Illinois, though. That's the thing. If I voted in a state where it actually mattered, if I voted in a swing state, which is why I am I disagree with a lot of people. I think we should bag the Electoral College. But
do you think that if you voted for Kennedy and the numbers showed on the screen that it was so freaking close that it would encourage more independent candidates? See, this is where I am.
That's a legitimate point.
See, this is what I'm saying.
Point.
So when people say it's wasted, I think if it's shown to the nation that no one is red or blue, we're all freaking in the middle, right?
Then that party would be taken more seriously.
It would be taken more seriously, and it wouldn't be a quote-unquote wasted vote. So this is what I'm saying. If we did our due diligence and voted the way we really thought we should vote and not be swayed or intimidated or threatened, then we would encourage independent candidates to come forward and say, this is what I want to do, and do things on your own merit and not be swayed by money or greed or bullshit, right? So when people say it's a wasted vote, this is why I argue.
I do agree with that.
So real
don't
quick,
waste your vote.
You're just not wasting your vote. I'll answer my own question. I think first and foremost, the foundation of anything is safety and health. And if one candidate is better on those factors, I will always vote that way. Okay. So.
Well, anyway,
man, we just put our poop out there.
Ooh, that's all right. I don't mind. Smell it.
Unlike what some people might think, I'm sure we will be here. Now, I don't think the world ends Wednesday. I think we will be here next Thursday.
It's also my birthday.
And Election Day is Ashley's birthday. The world can't end on Ashley's birthday.
And if it does, I hope it ends quickly because I don't want to suffer.
Oh, this is the big one, 5-0, right?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, Bob. If you weren't my enemy before, you are freaking now.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. But if you want to send me gifts and if you want to send me gifts and all kinds of love, I'm not opposed to it. So there you go.
Send her love.
Yeah,
send her love.
All right. We'll see you next week.
See ya.